and a U.S. Mag, a trusted supplier. Of diabetes equipment for
Welcome to the Life with Joey Calvo Podcast. I'm Joey Calvo. I do apologize for the technical issues because of the slow Wi-Fi T-Mobile. Today, before we get to our guests, please continue to help the victims of the Texas floods and the California wildfires. They do still need our help. So today, our guest is Thomas Russell, and so he started his writing career at 23 when he became a managing editor for the national magazine RV Trade Digest. And after 6 years, he moved on and just did freelance work off and on for several decades. And he kind of gave up his writing career until he turned 52 when he decided to write his book, Finding Your True North, A Bullied Teen's Journey of Hope. And then followed it with Nowhere's Man. Thomas, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks, I appreciate it, Joey.
Okay, so explain up to this point. I know I gave a little bit from the 23 to 52, but explain more about yourself.
Well, as far as my writing career, I was in the school newspaper. I was a sports editor, and I kept telling people that I wanted to work for Sports Illustrated as a writer. But in the back of my mind, I was thinking there was no way that I was ever going to achieve that. So I sold myself without actually believing in myself. I had that lot of self-doubt, and I carried that on with me until I turned 23. I got offered a job. I was freelancing for this magazine, RV Trade Digest, for about 3 months, and the publisher asked me to come on as managing editor. And at 23, I thought I'd made it. But it was the feeling of, I didn't know anything about the RV industry at all. But I worked my way into it. And so for 6 years, I worked for the magazine. And it's probably one of the best jobs I've ever had up to that point. And then when the recession hit, 1991, the RV industry got hit really bad. So we didn't have the revenue coming in. So I had to cut back to 3 days a week for about 3 months. I did that. And so I had to move on. And I ended up getting in restaurant management. And I found myself stuck in that mode for several years in different kinds of management positions. And in the interim, I was writing freelance articles for different magazines and other publications, but I could never really make a living with that. So I kind of pushed that dream away for several years, and then I ended up getting involved with an organization called 5-Star Life, where we mentor middle school kids. And throughout the process of talking to these kids, we always tell these kids, you know what? You have all the potential to do what you want to do with your life. What do you want to do? And I kept asking these kids this. And then I said, I just looked at myself in the mirror and says, what in the heck are you doing? You're not really doing what you want to do. And what the big thing I wanted to do was write a book. And I didn't have a clue how to do that. But when I turned 52, I just made that decision that I wanted to get out there and actually do something and finish it, because all through my life I felt like I was quitting. I get to a certain point and I talk myself out of it. Mm-hmm. And then when I decided to start doing this, I set a time limit when I wanted to get this book done. So I set it for 5 months. Mm-hmm. And so I continued writing the book every day as much as I could, working 2 jobs. And so I finished in 4 months. And so I finished it, and it was a huge accomplishment, because that was one of the first times I ever finished something that I started.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. So you took time out because you were having, because of the pandemic, and also you weren't making an income. So you went into, like you said, into restaurant management and so on. And then, you got yourself together with an agency called 5-Star Life. And then, right. You also have you had a radio show during that time called Life Without Limits.
Right.
Can you explain about that?
Yeah, it was really interesting, because I was on LinkedIn, and I was connecting with other authors and other writers, And I started talking with a woman who lived in Australia, who ended up writing a book. Um, and then we became really good friends. And then she told me that, hey, I'm working on this new radio show. It was based in Florida, and she asked me to be her first guest. So I came on, and after we got done with the show, I asked her. I said, "This sounds really cool. What's it going to take for me to make this decision?" And so she connected me with the owner of the radio station, and it's a worldwide radio station called W4WN. And so we were able to get the radio show started because he had me in like a 7 p.m. slot on a Monday, and I couldn't figure out what my theme was going to be. And because I'm an anti-bullying advocate, I wanted to base my show on that. I'd interview people who gone through bullying and how they overcame it. And then I came to the conclusion, you know what? I can only go so far every week talking about the same thing with anti-bullying. So I wanted to branch out and get bigger with the people that I talk to. So I kind of broadened my perspective, stating I want to talk to people who have uh, had these challenges that came up in their lives, and I wanted to find out how they overcame it, and in the process, how they inspired people. And it was tremendous. It was a lot of work because I had to research people across the world, and I interviewed people all across the world, and it was amazing. For 3 years I was doing this. I met some really good friends and some very traumatic experiences that these people went through, and they became champions. They were incredible guests, and I wish I could still do the show, but I wasn't making any money with it,
Oh.
and so I had decided to pull out of it.
Okay, yeah, that was something that's something we're working on right now with this podcast itself. Working on getting national radio sponsorship to be syndicated in Boston, Seattle, Atlanta, um, Chicago, and LA, San Bernardino area. So we're working on it, but so far, not many biters, quote unquote. You know, not many fish were caught off of it. So we're working on that. So you turned around.
Required.
Yeah, yeah. So so after that, you were selected as Big Brother of the Year. Can you explain a little bit more about that?
Yeah, during COVID with 5 Star Life, we were in the schools every week, and then when schools stopped being going in attendance and everything was at home, we had to stop the program in the schools. So I felt that hole in my heart that I couldn't be around the kids, trying to help them to, reach their potential. And years previous to that, I applied to become a Big Brother, and it just didn't work out. And then I decided to try it one more time, and went through the review, backup check. They checked my backup, or give me they checked my requirements and everything, and so I connected with this young boy, a 10-year-old boy, and he was kind of concerned because I was 60 years old at the time and he was 10. So there was a 50-year age difference, and he was kind of concerned that I was too old. But he stuck by me, and we developed a friendship immediately. And the first time I went out with him, I forget what we did, but I asked him what was the best thing that you did today, and he said spending time with you, and that just melted my heart. It was an incredible experience, and I never expected that. And then over the course of time, we we were doing so many different things. And they 7 months in, when they did the annual shindig, they nominated me to be the Big Brother of the Year. And I thought there were like, I don't know, three or four other people who were also nominated, but they finally told me that I won it. And that really floored me. And so for 3 years we did a lot of different things. And this past, I don't know, it's been about 2 months ago, the chapter in our area, they couldn't stay afloat, and they didn't have enough funding, so they had to dissolve the chapter, unfortunately. But I made a commitment to this young man, his name is Demetrius, to stay with him, and that's what we're doing. We still continue to get together, and as long as he's going to be around and I'm going to be around, we're going to still get together.
That's good. So explain about your book, Finding Your True North, A Bullied Teen's Journey of Hope.
Yeah, when we with 5-Star Life, we talked about a lot of different things, and one of them was about bullying. And one of the things that I wasn't sure what kind of book to write, this just kind of popped in my head, is why not write a book? Because there's 5 core values that 5-Star Life talks about, and it's called responsibility, respect, courage, and responsible, respect, courage, respect, and integrity. So I want to integrate those 5 core values into the book and wrap it around a 14-year-old boy who was being bullied, and he didn't know how to handle it. So I won't give away the whole book, but basically he runs away, goes in another town where he learns about these 5 core values to help build up his self-esteem. So when he was able to go back, he was able to have more belief in himself to handle a situation, handle the kids who were bullying. So that's a generic idea about the book. So that's what that book was about.
Okay. And then you followed up with another book called Nowhere Man. Can you explain that one?
Yeah, in the first book, Finding True North, one of the main characters was a homeless man, and he was central to the development of the 14-year-old boy. But I wanted to write something about homelessness, and in order to do that, I had to immerse myself into that community. So that's what I did, and I went to the local homeless shelter, talked to some homeless people, and I was able to glean a lot of the reasons why that they're homeless and what they experienced. So in this book, both of these books are fiction, but it's rooted in truth of reality. And then and with how I depicted what it was like for homeless people, the main character, the combination of 3 different homeless people, their stories. I integrated all their stories into what this guy experienced. Okay. And it was very eye-opening for me, the things that they went through, and I was able to put those experiences in the book.
Okay. And so you also have a YouTube channel on the radio show that we talked about earlier. Can you explain a little bit more on that?
Well, actually, it was the YouTube channel was the radio show.
Okay.
So the radio show was called Life Without Limits, and it's a Life Without Limits show .com. That's my website, and that'll take you. I did how many shows did I do? I did 60 shows on YouTube, but I did a total of 160 total shows.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
On iHeartRadio and YouTube.
Okay. Yeah. The same thing with this. We're live on the YouTube live stream right now, so it'll be shown on YouTube by tomorrow. But it's also on our older episodes are on iHeartRadio and Spotify, or now it's called now it's called Spotify for Creators or something like that. formerly Anchor.fm. That's where we were originally started from 6 years ago when we started this. So what's next for Thomas Russell? Now that we got through all this, what's next?
You know what? That's really funny you asked that, is because when I wrote the first book, I never really thought this, but what you said was not what's next is when I finished the book, my thought process was what's next? What am I going to do next? And so the next book was what's my next. And then when I did that book, and I promoted it, so as being a self-published author, you have to put yourself out there all the time. And I never got stuck with finishing something and say, okay, rest of my laurels, and just move and just not do anything else. I thought about what my next was before I finished whatever I was working on. So it was from the books to the radio show, and then to what I'm doing now is I'm a content coordinator / editor for 3 different magazines with Best Version Media, and I work on those for every month, and that takes up quite a bit of time because I'm the sole I'm the only person creating all the content or finding someone else to submit content for all 3 magazines. They're neighborhood magazines, and we have Best Version Media has 1,300 of these magazines all across the country and Canada. And so I started in I can't remember, the 2022, I believe. And I worked for one of the local magazines, and after 8 months, I moved on. And then a little while later, Best Version Media contacted me to see if I could be what they call an interim roving content coordinator. If there's not someone local in that area, in that city, they hire the content coordinator to take over that magazine until they can find someone local. So I've been doing that for about 1.5 years now. And up to this point, I've worked for 8 different magazines, and not all at the same time, but I mean, when they find someone local, then they give me another magazine. So I'm constantly moving and I'm 63 years old now. And when you asked about the what's next, I'm still working on this right now. And I don't have a what's next just right now. I wrote a manuscript that is probably not going to see the light of day because I had a falling out with the guy who hired me to do this. But and then I wrote my memoir that I'm still working on. I'm adding to it, so I keep working constantly, doing something, because if I don't follow my path, follow my dream of staying in the writing business, I kind of just fall by the wayside, and I just can't do that. I did that all my life for several decades. I kept doubting myself, and I didn't. I just gave up, and I got so tired of quitting. And when I got to this moment, when I wrote the first book, that's when I found my rebirth. That's when I was able to find myself and say, I can do this because because of whatever it is. And I never allow myself to think that I can't do something.
Okay. So where can people reach out to you?
They can. You have the website there. It's www.lifewithoutlimitsshow.com, and then what you'll see on there, that's my website that has my radio show and my 2 books that are on there. You can listen to the radio show on iHeartRadio, and you can see the videos on it that I've had, because Joey, you've been doing YouTube for a while, and it's the feeling that you're able to let other people see what's going on. It's very redeemable, because we're all making an impact at some point, whether with what you're saying or what your guests are saying, and it's there forever.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I apologize, folks. I was just mixed up in something else here a second as I was listening. So go to lifewithoutlimits.show.com, or you can find them on YouTube, Life Without Limits, and check out the show. And then go on Amazon to and then look under Thomas Russell to find the books. So definitely check him out, and you'll be able to read his stories and be able to reach out to him. If you have any questions about the books, etc. But Thomas, I thank you so much for being a guest on the podcast. You're welcome to come back on anytime. Just reach out to me if anything new comes up, and we'll be able to work you in.
All right. I appreciate it, Joey.
And thank you so much, everybody, for watching the Life with Joey Calvo podcast. I am Joey Calvo. God bless you all.
Years has great news for people living with diabetes and the pain of regular testing. New Medicare and private insurance guidelines have expanded coverage for continuous glucose monitors, even for people not using insulin. The days of repeated, painful finger sticks are over. Now you can wear a continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, and eliminate routine finger sticks. US Med has the newest models of CGM, which are more accurate and convenient than ever. CGMs are shown to lower your A1C, increase your time in range and reduce the risk of hypoglycemic events. Shipping is free, and we'll even bill your insurer directly. Don't spend one more painful day testing your blood sugar. Call now to get your continuous glucose monitoring system so you can take control of your diabetes and get back to enjoying life.
Call US Med now.
US Med, a trusted supplier of diabetes equipment for nearly 30 years, has great news for people living with diabetes and the pain of regular testing. New Medicare and private insurance guidelines have expanded coverage for continuous glucose monitors, even for people not using insulin. The days of repeated, painful finger sticks are over. Now you can wear a continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, and eliminate routine finger sticks. US Med has the newest models of CGM. Which are more accurate and convenient than ever. CGMs are shown to lower your A1C, increase your time in range, and reduce the risk of hypoglycemic events. Shipping is free, and we'll even bill your insurer directly. Don't spend one more painful day testing your blood sugar. Call now to get your continuous glucose monitoring system so you can take control of your diabetes and get back to enjoying life.
Call US Med now.